Hey, it's TDA, and welcome back to session 2 of my Dyson Sphere program playthrough. My save game got eaten by some cleaning up of my PC, which was not the smartest thing to do. So I had to recreate our little base that we started in session 1 with. It should look almost identical, but if you see small differences, that's why. What we did in the last episode was we set up our basic production, so we have a bit of everything going, so we can just pick up some gears if we need them, circuit boards, magnetic coils, etc. So that's really nice to have, but of course this is not where we stop. This is just the beginning, and now we have the basics in order. We need to start scaling up. One of the most important things that we need to do is start working on our research. And in order to do that, I've actually set up the base in this particular way exactly because that allows us to do this. So we can put a science facility
Matrix
over there,
Lab.
or
You
Matrix
can
Lab
use
to be
it to make
exact.
super matrices, or research technologies that require them to unlock. The super matrices are the source code of the center brain for maintaining the homeworld. You can upload as many super matrices to the center brain as possible. You can be benefit to unlock more actual world technologies by operating the homeworld simultaneously.
Okay, so you can actually see we can produce those blue science cubes over here. They're called electromagnetic matrices, but yeah, blue science is a lot easier. And they will need magnetic coils and circuit boards, which we happen to have exactly here and here, and in such a way that they nicely tie up to our matrix lab. So that's nice. Now all we need to do is power it up, and of course then it helps if you have those power stations ready to go. I'll actually build some power as well while we're at it, and we'll probably need more of those, so I'll queue those up. Yeah, so let's power this up. And you will see it starting to produce blue science. However, it's not actually researching anything, because for that we need more of these labs. What I like to do is put a small storage block in between. With one space in
built a
between,
storage,
otherwise you won't be able to
which can
connect
be
it up.
used to store cargo. You can manually store or use the sorter to automatically stock the cargo.
And then what you can do is this, just connect up the storage box with the matrix lab, and it will go straight in. So that makes sure that all the blue science that we're producing is not actually going to waste. Now of course we need more than just that, so in a few seconds we'll have the other one as well. And then this second set of matrix labs that will actually be the ones doing the research for us. So if we power that up, we set a research. I suggest that you start with this one, the universe exploration. After that, it doesn't really matter that much. It's handy to get this one. This will allow your mecha to have a little bit more energy, so it runs out of energy less fast. And it might also be useful to get the drone engine. That just makes sure the drones fly around faster, but maybe get communication control before that. That gives you an extra drone. The drone engine makes them move faster, and that way your construction will be a little bit faster. After that, I suggest you get, let's see, where should we start? This one, the high efficiency plasma control. That will give you access to the wireless power tower, which is very handy as well. I'll show you why once we get it. And then just queue up basically whatever else. We're going to need all of this. They're all fairly cheap. But when you're queuing up stuff, make sure to include these two, but we'll get to that in a moment. So we're not actually researching anything at the moment, but we will once we hook this up. I always just put in the maximum amount of connectors just to make sure that there's an optimal flow going through. And now we're actually starting to research. However, this is not really going that fast. Now the nice thing what you can do is stack these up, and you now have triple the capacity of research. However, there's one problem. We'll actually be using more inputs than we can actually produce at the moment.
You have unlocked the
In a
universe
moment, once these
exploration.
fill up.
Now you can click the details display button in the lower right corner of the screen to open real-time distribution
So
details
you can
of
see
the
we're
ore
actually
veins.
using more circuit boards than we can actually produce at the moment, so that means we'll need to scale that up. Now before I scale that up, we just unlocked the first blue science research that I told you about, and if you press this button, and magically all across the world, you can see the difference here, all the resources in the world will start showing up. And if you press the M button, you can actually check out on
In
the
the planet
entire
view mode,
planet
slide the mouse wheel to enter the star
where
map mode.
everything is. Alright, so we want to upgrade our production facilities. So that means we will need a few of these. We will need a few more of these. We might also want one or two of these. And we need some more power. So let's queue all of that up while we start working on it. Let's make use of our little storages of items over here as well, so that we avoid handcrafting as much as we can. Now, there are a few tricks. In general, you want to have your belts fully in place before you start building anything more. The reason why, I will show you in a second. Also holds for belts, these belts, and these belts. So, now, instead of building the buildings one by one, connecting them up with the sorters, etc., what you can do is press Shift, click the building, and it will copy the entire thing along with the sorters and the recipe. So as you can see, they're now starting to build it, and we have an exact duplicate of the building that we already have. Well, the only problem is this only works if you already have the belts in place. Otherwise, if the sorters have nothing to connect up to, it won't work. We can do the second thing for the circuit boards here, and we can do that for the gears as well. Now we have a new problem, because we will actually be lacking some of the inputs we need to actually produce these things. So again, what we do, we walk over here. Let me just double check if we actually have smelters. We do, but we probably want a few more. We can take the iron, for example, drag these out, and we have scaled up our production facility significantly. However, of course, you do need to have all the items you need. In order to do that, apparently I'm lacking circuit boards. That's not that weird, because we just realized that we had less of these than we were actually producing. You can see we're actually running into some power issues now, but that's not a problem. We'll solve that in a moment. Let's get this up and running first, though. Shift click. Now, the power is an issue. I think we had already some turbines produced, so let's put those up. Let's connect it to the other one, actually, so if there's a surplus there, we can make use of that. We have one more, so let's put that over there. If you spread them out a little bit on the side where you're not building, they won't get in the way, as I mentioned last time, I think. And now we should be back. 70% power, maybe a little bit more. So let's make the last few as well, while we run over, collect some more of our materials. So now another reason why our circuit boards are not working as fast as we would like them to is because we are transporting them over a longer distance than right next to the belt where they start from. It's not really a big problem right now. As you can see, the research is progressing along quite nicely anyway. You can see them actually stacking up here as well, so we don't need more than this right now. But it is something to take into account once we get better sorters that can transport goods faster. And we will be getting those. Not for too long, not this session, but maybe the next or the one after that. More belts. And yeah, as you can see, now we have a nice little base build up. We have our blue science production up and running. We have doubled the size of our base. The only thing we are now lacking is actually the stone that's over there. And yeah, then we can start thinking about automating some of our building production, because as you've noticed, so far we've been building our buildings one by one by ourselves. And well, that's fine for the beginning. We don't want to keep doing that forever. We're here to automate stuff, do mass production, and that won't work if we're crafting all our buildings one by ourselves. Alright, so what we need is actually, I still have miners, so that's good. Do I still have smelters? No, I don't. I actually need stone and I need iron for that. So let's put down one of those. That's 6. That's not 6. 6, can I get 6? Okay. Let's hop back and get some of our iron because apparently we're running low on that. Generally speaking, whenever you run past your iron production, pick up some iron. You probably want to pick up some of the gears as well. You probably want to pick up some circuits. Those are typically the things you run out first before anything else. So just pick some of those up whenever you run past. And then let's do this. One of those. Pick this up. While we're here, might as well get some of these rocks. So I just got some silicone and some titanium. Those are not actually things we use at the moment, but you can just save them, don't throw them away or anything like that. You will be able to use them later. It will be quite useful if you still have them. Just a little boost once you unlock the items you can make with them. Okay, do I have my... Oh, I didn't actually queue them up yet, my bad. I need some smelters. And I need 1, 2, 3. My belt. There you go. And at this stage of the game, it's time to stop thinking small, start thinking big. And instead of just putting down 1, what we'll actually do is go down 3. It's the maximum amount that can be supported by one mining machine at this point. Assuming, of course, we power it up. And yeah, once you unlock them, I actually suggest that you make maybe 3 or 4 of these wireless power towers. Now, they don't actually generate power themselves, like the turbines do, and they are quite bad at powering your buildings, unlike the Tesla tower, which has a pretty wide range. But they are actually quite useful if used properly. So let me show you that in a moment. Our science is progressing quite nicely as well. I have a feeling that one of these won't actually connect fully up. So let's put out 2. There you go. And we will be starting to produce some concrete as well. Now, the wireless power tower. Once you start producing larger buildings, like I will be doing now, because I don't want my stone all the way over there, it's inconvenient. So I will bring it closer to our base. I think so. Let's put it on the line. There you go. If you do it like this, you can see your power dropping very rapidly. However, and once it reaches 0, even if you still have some power in your mecha, which you should have, otherwise you start running around very slowly, everything just grinds to a halt. That becomes very slow. And this is really annoying. But if you put down a few of those power towers around you,
you built a wireless power tower,
powering you,
which is suitable with long-distance power transmission caused by its longer connection distance. What's exciting is that it can also charge mecha by using electricity from the grid.
I know, right? Super exciting. Yeah, so you do see that it's drawing quite a lot of power from the grid. We didn't have much surplus to begin with, so don't use this continuously, but it is quite useful just to get yourself started. Now, one last thing for this episode that I would like to show you is that it might be useful to set up a little bit of a buffer for yourself here and there, just in case you want to not just run around your entire base grabbing stuff. Just have a few places where you can just go back to and simply grab the items that you need. This is actually a little bit annoying, so let me this for a moment. Like that. Like that. So what you can do is, once you have some of these storage units, if you put a sorter in and put one sorter out, and make sure you follow the direction of where the stuff is going along the belt, whenever your belt stacks up, it will start filling this storage unit. And if you actually need it on the belt, it won't actually slow down because it's filling up as fast as it's unloading back onto the belt. So you don't actually harm your production. But this will give you a nice little buffer. I do suggest you set the capacity quite low. You don't need this to fill up completely, that's really a waste. But maybe a few stacks just in case you need it. You can do the same over here with these short ports. And again, make sure you set the capacity. What you can actually do as well is copy this, just like we did before with the other buildings. And by doing that, it actually copies the capacity along with it, so you don't have to set it individually for each of these storage boxes. We need to make sure they're powered, otherwise they won't be working. And there you go. So we set up our production, we set up our science, we actually researched everything we could, so let's queue up a few more things for the next session. There you go. I think we have most of the important things now. Yeah. I think we're good for now. We are actually getting into the zone where we need a lot of other stuff as well, so yeah, let's wait for that to complete. And during the next session we will start building our little mass production facility for buildings, and yeah, I'm very excited about that. That means we can stop handcrafting all the buildings. We'll have to carry around a lot less materials, and in general life will be good. So see you in the next one. And don't forget, if you like this content, like and subscribe to the video. The channel is very new, so it would help me out a lot. And of course, if you have any comments or suggestions on how to improve the content for you, make it more useful, make it more fun, then please let me know. Alright, see you in the next one.